I appreciate that she subtitled this The Game of Life and How to Play It, and didn't really put in there how to win it, though today's topic is titled Winning the Mind Game. And so I want to preface this whole thing with the knowing that there really aren't any winners or losers in life, that this dichotomy and this comparison is really something that is on this linear earth plane that we determine and we decide and we equate and we evaluate and all of those things that the ego does in this mind thing that we have. But in truth and in reality, we are love. And as I shared last week in the quote by Gerald Jampolsky, that love asks no questions. Its natural state is one of extension and expansion, not comparison and measurement. And that really is the truth of us, and our natural state is love. Total love, which is all-encompassing. It doesn't say no, it says yes to everything, correct? And so when we're in this natural state, how do we feel? Do we feel light? Do we feel happy? Do we feel energetic? Do we feel life? Yes, we do, right? Because it is an infinite flow of energy, right? And we have this mind that we think with, right? Now we think with our mind. But what mind are we thinking with? We're thinking with the one mind. It's not my mind. It's not your mind. It's not his mind. It's not her mind. We have one mind that we are operating in and of and through. Truly. The one mind that lets us choose whatever we want to choose out of its offerings, out of this vast buffet that's available. Each of us does get to choose the thoughts that are infinite in this buffet of life. What thoughts are you choosing? Do you know? It's something, isn't it? When I wrote in the thought for the week, how many times we go through life just on automatic. Just thinking the same thoughts that we thought yesterday. And the day before. And the day before. And we expect ourselves to think those thoughts tomorrow. The same thoughts. And yet we call ourselves new thought. Because we are infinite. We don't want to corral ourselves. We don't want to limit ourselves. We want to be open. Open at the top, as Ernest Holmes said. We are open at the top. So as I'm thinking about these athletes at the Olympics, the training that they've gone through, the dedication they've gone through, literally to do what needed to be done to stay focused on this one particular thing in their lives. How many of us have that dedication in our lives? For one particular thing. There's one hand that went up in the back. Oh, another hand. Dedication. If you think about it, there are places in your life where you have that dedication. Where you have honored yourself, whatever it is that you have that interest in, and you have focused on it. Now, I wouldn't be doing my job as a preacher if I wouldn't be standing up here to remind you that I believe one of the first and foremost things that you should be focusing on, or that would help you in allowing yourself to express this infinite being you are, is to focus on and categorize with the priority of knowing your oneness with life, your oneness with love, your oneness with peace. If we focus and become so attuned to that truth of our being, then everything else in the periphery shows up in amazing synchronicity. Amazing, because there is this stuff. What did Ernest call it? Divine stuff. That's just out there. We talked about this last week, how that we think our bodies are solid, and they're not. You know, everything is moving. It's all, there's this gap in between everything. It's energy, and it's always moving. You know, when you stop and think about it, how our minds, I mean, this earth is like spinning and, you know, twisting, and here we are just thinking that we're just staying still. Amazing things are going on all around us and within us. Our bodies, just in and of themselves, are so attuned to taking care of what's going on. So I believe that one of the best ways that we can perform and win this game of life for ourselves is to dedicate ourselves to the practice of being the presence. I was listening to my Michael Beckwith's visioning CDs that come on every so often, and he was talking about meditation and how the priority of meditation is one of the most basic ways that we can transform our lives. Transforming our lives means letting go, and grasping the truth of what we are at a greater essence, at a greater energy, at a greater awareness. And it always takes letting go of something. And so we can let go of this thought that, oh, no, I don't have enough time this morning to meditate. Or we can, if somebody asks you, did you meditate this morning? No, I didn't feel like it. And well, did you do that? No, I didn't feel like it. Michael Beckwith says, if you are a great musician, or if you're a great athlete, or you are at the top of your game, you practice whether you feel like it or not. It's not about feeling like it. It's about doing it and staying focused on it. So I'm going to tell you, at the top of your game, if you will allow yourself in the morning to get focused on your undisturbed or undistracted attention to reality, that is what the definition of meditation is. Undistracted attention to reality. Now, you can do that sitting still in your chair with your eyes closed, oming away. Or you can do it with your shoes off, walking on the grass. You can do it at the beach. You can do it listening to a friend. There's all sorts of ways that we can consciously connect with this one presence. It takes priority. It takes dedication. It takes practice. It takes doing it. It takes conscious awareness of it. In one of the chapters in Florence's book, it's entitled The Law of Non-Resistance. And in it, she is referencing Jesus Christ. And he said, resist not evil, for he knew there was no evil. Therefore, nothing to resist. There is an old legend that Adam and Eve ate Maya from the tree of illusion and saw two powers instead of one power, God. Therefore, evil is a false law man has made for himself through psychomatic or soul sleep. Soul sleep means that man's soul has been hypnotized by the race belief of sin, of sickness, of death, and so forth, which is carnal and mortal thought, and his affairs have outpictured his illusions. In reality, there is one: power, presence, love, energy. But man has been mesmerized, hypnotized, to believe in two, to believe there is an evil. Resistance to what is hell. Resistance to what is hell. We place our state in a state of torment when we resist what's going on around us. It was interesting, she gave the example in the book of a person having a problem with someone else. Anybody have that experience? And as this person was sharing with Florence the story of what was going on, Florence said that she saw that this woman was seeing two powers, choosing to see two powers instead of one. And so she told this to the woman, and so the woman got it. The woman said, okay, then I choose to bless and release. And so I'm going to affirm that there is only one power, God, and that this man, her problem, is here for my good and my prosperity. Imagine that. If there is only good, then this problem that I have, somehow or other, is for my good. So she said soon after they had met, after Florence talked to this lady, and the lady decided, you know what, I'm just going to bless him. I'm not going to resist him. I'm just going to let him go. I'm going to bless him. She said soon after that, the woman met, through this man, a woman who gave her, for a service rendered, several $1,000s. So through someone that this man knew, this woman, she gave her a service, and she got several $1,000s from it. And the man then moved to a distant city and faded harmoniously out of her life. That is an example of non-resistance. That's an example of knowing that life is for us. If we allow ourselves to go with the flow on it. Florence offered this affirmation: every man is a golden link in the chain of my good. Every person, I'd say, is a golden link in the chain of my good. Whatever it is. But it takes remembering. It takes not falling asleep. It takes not being hypnotized. It takes being aware of where you're at and seeing the good. It takes choosing love over fear. Time and time and time again, just like the trained athlete. We have to go back and practice and practice. Choosing love over fear. One of the things she had in her book, which was, it struck me so deeply. It said, one's ships come in over calm sea. We have someone here that used to drive a ship or two, or whatever they call that. It was not driving it. But I was thinking about that. I imagine if you're out to sea, if you are in a storm, it's probably not a wise thing to try to dock your boat at that time, because you're going to get smashed up against that right? I mean, I remember, I think about this. One time we were at Lake Powell, and they have lots of wind. And I remember thinking the fact that when trying to come into that dock, it's not a good idea to do it when the wind is blowing so strongly. Well, our lives are like that. Think about that. If you want to dock, you want to have a calm sea. So your sea of life, you don't want to encourage the turmoil. Your good is coming to you when you are calm. Make sense? The other affirmation she had in there, which I've shared with you, I think, the first week, was, none of these things move me. None of these things move me. I am staying in my calm. And whatever's going on, I'm not moved by it. And I threw mine in that I've used for many, many years, which is, this too shall pass. It didn't come to stay. This too shall pass. We don't focus on it. And so we're working on flexing our spiritual muscles. Okay? We're in the game of life in the Olympics. Flexing our spiritual muscles. Having this spiritual maturity to go above and beyond what it looks like on the outside. And knowing that we are causation to every experience. We need to own it. We need to say, thank you, God. And what can I learn from it? I went to a new doctor this last week, and I was sitting in the waiting room, and she had a little plaque up on the wall by Thich Nhat Hanh, a little saying of his. It said, we have to continue to learn. We have to continue to be open. And we have to be ready to release our knowledge in order to come to a higher understanding of reality. We have to let go. We have to honor the fact that we are infinite beings, and as such, we need to grow in that. There was another quote from Thich Nhat Hanh that I wanted to share with you that was from about peace. Where is it here? Oh, here it is. Make each moment an occasion to live deeply, happily, in peace. Make each moment an occasion to live deeply, happily, in peace. How does that feel? Yeah, that's our choice. That's our choice. How we see life. We are going to be winning this mind game, this Olympics of life, by paying attention. By paying attention to what we're paying attention to. Are we paying attention with undisturbed attention to reality, to the big R, to the big L, to life, to love, to this infinite potential that we are? That's how we stay on the game. That's how we win. Knowing that there's really no losers or winners. I wanted to share with you something that I read yesterday, and I think that it fits here. The key to growth is the introduction of higher dimensions of consciousness into our awareness. Lao Tzu, a quote. Our lives are the result of our self-contemplation. Science of Mind, really, Ernest Holmes. What are you thinking about? You know what you're thinking about by what's in your life. It's right in your face. In one of her books, she said that life is like a boomerang. You know, whatever you send out, it comes back to you. So what does he say here? The unexamined life is not worth living is a wisdom attributed to the philosopher Socrates. It extends to us an invitation to never hesitate our exploration in uncovering the known and unknown causes that precede our world of effects. Why is this happening to me? Anybody ever asked that question? What? Again? I thought I went through this. We are invited to regularly sit in self-examination and observe our relative patterning, thank you, with the world around us. We can access our inner inquirer and honestly ask, am I a reactor or a responder? Am I more apt to react to situations of discomfort and disagreement with fear and contention? Or am I evolving more into the realm of conscious responder? The conscious responder breathes, pauses, and knows that regardless of whatever the opposing viewpoint or misunderstanding may be arising, there lies within a knowing that all is continuously well. A solution does indeed exist, and nothing or no thing can be lost, taken away, or withheld from the one who understands their divine purpose in the world. The adventure called life is gorgeously constructed training ground of perpetual learning and soul progression toward greater consciousness and transcendence. Letting go, releasing, moving forward. Today, let us engage in authentic inventory, examining the way in which we relate to others. We can choose to live in the energy of the peaceful responder. Be aware. Be observant. Am I having a knee-jerk reaction? Why would that be? Let me go back and allow myself to bless, release, let go, and move forward. Non-resistance. Paying attention to what we're paying attention to. And choosing peace at every moment. That we do have that choice. To choose peace versus whatever button I think I have had installed that is now being pushed. Just allow it to be released and let it go. It's not worth it. How would you like to live? In consternation or in peace? The choice is always ours. Always ours. And I see sweet, sweet pieces of peace out here before me. Woohoo! Namaste.